stupid, I thought it was embarrassing, the whole thing, embarrassing for boxing, but look, it is what it is.
We all know you're just full of shit. You're not really a heavyweight. You just fight all these people that are super easy to fight because you want to just make it.
YouTube star KSI recently slammed Jake Paul's fight with Mike Tyson, calling the whole concept ridiculous. He pointed out that Jake Paul seems to be willing to fight anyone, as long as they're old, retired, sick, or not even a real boxer. KSI suggested that Paul would keep picking these kinds of opponents, including the recent Tyson matchup. He even mentioned that Paul's manager might go as far as letting him fight someone like IShowSpeed, who isn't a professional boxer at all.
He has no shame. He's gonna just, I think he's looking to maybe even fight Speed. Or his manager Nakisa is there like, yeah, bro, his Speed's on it, we're down.
KSI also revealed that Jake Paul always looks for the easiest fights. Professional boxers, like Daniel Dubois and Arsene Goulamirian, have started calling him out, but KSI believes Paul would never face fighters like them. According to KSI, Jake Paul is more interested in keeping his image intact and avoiding any real challenges in the ring.
He doesn't care. He's had actual boxers wanting to fight him. Beterbiev has called him out to fight. Yeah. Dubois has called him out to fight. So he's not going to fight any of those people. He's just going to try and fight the easiest people and then make himself look like he's the...
Meanwhile, Jake Paul responded to the criticism, saying that his haters have been constantly downplaying the fight and disrespecting both him and Mike Tyson. However, Paul argued that anyone who truly understands boxing knows that the event went really well.
To say anything, the people who understand the greatness of it and, have their own lives and are happy with themselves, they're gonna just show respect and show praise. It's the haters who are jealous and don't have anything going on in their sad and miserable lives, and they want to bring the whole event down, and Mike down, and me down, and all of these.
Tommy Fury recently criticized the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight, calling it a complete disgrace and embarrassment. He dismissed it as not being a real fight, pointing out that it was just a few light taps here and there. While Fury acknowledged that the fight was a major commercial and financial success, he argued that it did nothing for either fighter's legacy.
On Friday night, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson?
Yes, I was. But what did I make of it? I think commercially and a business sense, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Both men made a ton of money. So best of luck to them, congratulations. As far as the boxing fight, it wasn't a fight, it was a tip and tap, don't hit me, I won't hit you.
More than 250 million people watched the fight worldwide, and Jake Paul called it the highlight of his career. He joked about how he could ever top such a monumental moment, describing the fight not just as a career peak, but as an event that cemented his legacy in boxing.
Being full of people, I was like, dude, look around. It's insane, dude. And I'm so glad I got to be there in that moment.
Me too. That was fucking epic. Started from the bottom, now we're here, bro.
60 million households, Jake.
250 million people. Oh, but 60 million accounts. Insane. Bro, that is so... It's all downhill from here.
No, for sure.
On the other hand, Spencer Oliver shared that he initially believed even a 5% version of Mike Tyson would be enough to beat Jake Paul. However, it quickly became clear that wasn't the case once the fight began. Oliver pointed out that Jake Paul didn't have to put in much effort to defeat Tyson. He admitted he had fallen for the hype that Tyson still had the strength to take down Paul. The fight was marketed as if Tyson would be the dominant force, but at 58 years old, Tyson just didn't have anything left in the tank.
In the trap of thinking surely Mike Tyson would not have gone through with this fight with his ego and his legacy in place to go and lose to Jake Paul, he must have enough in the tank. We're talking about levels here, and I'm thinking he must have enough in the tank to beat Jake.
Meanwhile, professional boxer David Benavidez weighed in, saying that while the Mike Tyson fight was entertaining for fans, he doesn't think Tyson should continue fighting. Benavidez suggested that it's time for Tyson to retire and hang up his gloves for good.
What do you think about Mike Tyson, David? What do you think about the Mike Tyson fight?
To be honest with you, I think it was a good fight, good turnout, but I don't want to see Mike Tyson fight no more. I think, hopefully he hangs it up. I think it was a good show, but shit, he needs to retire.
Benavidez also reflected on why Tyson agreed to a fight that ultimately made him look bad in the ring, especially given his legendary status in the heavyweight division. He pointed out that at the end of the day, Tyson is his own man. If he took the fight and signed the contract, it was his choice. Benavidez speculated that Tyson might have agreed to face Jake Paul to teach him a lesson. He mentioned that if Jake had tried to seriously hurt Tyson, he might have stepped in himself to challenge Paul. However, Tyson went into the fight, got a good paycheck, and Benavidez felt he deserved it. He acknowledged that a 60-year-old Tyson is a very different fighter than his prime self. Meanwhile, Dubois shared his thoughts, saying he had predicted the outcome of the fight. He argued that a 58-year-old should never have been allowed to face a 27-year-old opponent, no matter how famous the names involved.
But I didn't, and I said this prior to the event. Obviously, like, first and foremost, I didn't want to see that event happen. Not the event, the fight. The event itself was, I thought, a success. The numbers proved it, and I think that some of the undercard fights were incredible.
Yeah.
But a 58-year-old should never have been in the ring with a 27-year-old, regardless of name.
Dubois further pointed out that Mike Tyson has had blood transfusions and hasn't fought in over 20 years. While Tyson did have a successful exhibition match with Roy Jones, Dubois felt he wasn't in shape to take on someone like Jake Paul.
In fact, it was Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, a 58-year-old who 4 months ago had blood transfusions, shouldn't be in the ring with a healthy 27-year-old. So I gave Mike absolutely zero chance in that fight.
Yeah,
like no chance, no way. Mike's not fought properly for 20 years. I mean, he had that little gimme fight against Roy Jones, the little exhibition, but he's not fought for 20 years.
Boxing promoter Frank Warren mentioned that he planned to watch the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight over the weekend, but ran into trouble when the women's fight came on. He said he lost the transmission and couldn't get his streaming platform to work properly.
I was on the phone, I was doing some phone calls, and I watched the two Mexican fights, then the women's fight came on, and after 2 rounds I lost it.
What, like started throwing stuff at the telly?
And then I tried, anyway, I don't know what happened, but I couldn't get it back on, so that was it.
I mean, would you have watched it if the stream hadn't gone down?
Yeah, I was up, I was awake, so if I'm not awake, that was it. And as I say, I didn't see it, but I didn't see it then live, but I've watched it in the office since and seen it, and
PL Warren pointed out that the fight went exactly as expected, given that Mike Tyson was no longer in his prime and was a 58 man. He also joked that if I'd football against Jake Paul, the result would likely have been year-old the same.
I don't know why anyone's moaning. What I expect is a 58-year-old man. I mean, if you was going to say, right, Paul Gascoigne's coming back, and he's 58 years of age and he's going to play in a football match, what would you expect from him?
On the other hand, Roy Jones analyzed Tyson's performance and noted that people were expecting him to throw powerful uppercuts like he did in his prime. Jones pointed out that at 58 years old, the risks were much higher than many realized, as Tyson was vulnerable to taking shots from both the right and left.
There are things that probably he could have done a little bit more of, or a little bit better had he really been trying to do that, but at the same time, what people don't understand is Jake does have a really good straight right hand and a good overhand right and a good right uppercut. So when you try to throw your right uppercut, being that you're 58 years old, you really expose yourself to be hit with his right hand or his overhand.
On the other hand, IShowSpeed recently called out Jake Paul, expressing his belief that he could beat him in a boxing match. During a live interview, when asked who he thought he could take on in the ring, IShowSpeed confidently mentioned Jake Paul's name.
Is there someone that you would like to fight that you haven't asked?
Jack.
A lot of people in the crowd are saying Jake Paul.
Nikki 30.
Boxing.
No.
I feel like I can beat Jake Paul in a fight.
Jake Paul's manager, Nikisa Badarian, responded to IShowSpeed's challenge by telling him to accept the biggest offer he'd ever get. Nikisa said, "Cool, tell him I have $10 million for him right now, signed this week. If he beats Jake, he gets a $10 million bonus. Put your signature where your clout is." Jake Paul also commented on the post, saying IShowSpeed didn't actually want to fight him, adding, "Speed knows better. My guy was playing for sure." Meanwhile, KSI called the Paul vs. Tyson fight a disgrace to boxing, labeling it a complete fraud. While he gave Paul credit for not knocking out a legend like Mike Tyson, he still slammed the entire event.
I thought it was embarrassing, the whole thing, embarrassing for boxing, but look, it is what it is. He had people fooled that thought Mike Tyson would actually win the fight. I knew Mike Tyson had no chance. I knew that Mike Tyson could have got knocked out. That's why I tweeted what I tweeted. And thankfully, Jake actually has a soul. Jake actually, has some decency to not knock out an OAP. So I thought that was really good to see.
Adam Smith criticized the Mike Tyson vs. Jake Paul fight, saying that fans saw the final glimpse of Tyson's fading aura. He added that they couldn't complain about not witnessing the power Tyson had in his 20s. Smith described the fight as a sad and disturbing spectacle, especially watching Tyson get beaten by a younger opponent.
I guess slightly going down memory lane for the young generation to see the aura of Mike Tyson, but I'm afraid he is a 58-year-old man, and I think we all really knew beforehand that Jake would win on points, and that, Mike would be a very, very sad...
John Jones shared his thoughts on the fight, expressing respect for Mike Tyson as a legendary figure. He acknowledged that the fans got what they wanted in terms of entertainment. Jones also pointed out that Tyson was paid very well for his performance and noted that fans would still be eager to see him fight again if he decides to step into the ring once more.
Respect him so much for getting in there. That was the cool part. It's just, I'm sure, they compensated him very well, and he got to give a bunch of fans what they wanted, which is just to be alive to see him compete. And for that part alone.
KSI also took aim at Jake Paul for fighting an aging and past his prime Mike Tyson, pointing out that Jake isn't a true heavyweight and wouldn't stand a chance against someone like Daniel Dubois. KSI claimed that Jake eased off during the fight with Tyson because he didn't want to knock out a legend, but added that Jake was also exhausted by the end of the match.
They saw back in the day and was going to absolutely destroy Jake Paul, not realizing that Mike Tyson is an OAP. He's an old man and had no right to be in the ring. And Jake Paul is in his prime. Prime. So I thought it was just, the whole thing was embarrassing, especially that Jake took the fight. But it's Jake. Jake doesn't give a shit. He has no shame. He's going to I think he's looking to maybe even fight Speed. His manager Nikisa is there his Speed's on it, we're down. It's Jake. He doesn't care. He's had actual boxers wanting to fight him. Beterbiev has called him out to fight. Yeah. Dubois has called him out to fight. So he's not going to fight any of those people. He's just going to try and fight the easiest people and then make himself look like he's the fucking best when he really is just a piece of shit.
He said he's asked Nikisa to communicate with the Warrens about a Daniel Dubois fight.
He's not going to fight Dubois.
I mean, yeah.
He's not even a heavyweight. Bro, he was gassed out fighting Mike Tyson, bro. I'm sorry, but yes, I know he probably took his foot off the gas because, it's Mike Tyson. He doesn't want to knock out a legend, but we all know you're just full of...
KSI went on to call Jake Paul a scam, claiming that he has nowhere to go from here because he's deceived fans and even Netflix. KSI stated that Paul's own promotional company is a scam with no real value.
Right now, I'm like, where can he go now? Where can he really go at this point? What has he got? He scammed Netflix. He scammed DAZN. He scammed Showtime. He scammed all these people. Where's he going to go? MVP is...
Nico Ali Walsh, who shares a close bond with Mike Tyson, expressed his disgust over the one-sided fight on X, tweeting, "Jake Paul is an embarrassment to this sport. If my grandfather was still around, he'd call him out. Absolutely no shame. Love you, Mike." Meanwhile, Logan Paul commented on the fight, calling the Mike Tyson slap the most iconic moment of the night. He accused Jake of disrespecting the legend again, adding that Jake didn't even feel the slap at all.
I think the smack was probably the most iconic thing to come out of the fight.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that. I got some trading cards. Did you get a trading card?
I didn't get a trading card.
Jake Paul recently criticized Mike Tyson during a podcast with his brother, Logan Paul. When asked if he was happy with Tyson's performance on Fight Night, Jake responded that Mike should have put in more effort. He felt that if Tyson had done more, he could have elevated the fight and his own standing.
Are you happy with your performance in the fight? Are you happy with the way the night went down?
I wish he would have, put up a better fight so then I could have, risen more and done.
Jake Paul commented that he felt absolutely nothing when Tyson hit him with punches. While Jake was being honest about it, his brother Logan was more surprised to hear it firsthand. Logan jokingly mentioned that Jake has a big head, so he must have felt the impact, but it turns out that wasn't the case.
He got you with a couple punches. How did they feel?
Nothing. Didn't feel a thing, to be honest.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Bro, your head is so big.
It didn't hurt. He didn't really land anything.
No, because your head is, I just tell you, can just take impact like crazy.
IShowSpeed isn't the only one calling out Jake Paul. KSI recently mentioned that Daniel Dubois had also approached Jake, saying he was willing to fight him. Daniel sent Jake a DM that read, Hi Jake, good business over the weekend, but how would you feel fighting for the legitimate heavyweight championship of the world? This is Daniel Dubois calling you out. Let's get it on. Jake responded by belittling Dubois, saying that the heavyweight champion had been boxing for 12 years, with over 100 fights between amateur and pro, and even fought on Jake's undercard. Jake joked, but K it, I'm going to have Nikisa talk to Frank Warren and get you in line for the throne. Unlike Arter, at least you have a few thousand fans. Ilian White also commented on Dubois' callout, acknowledging the ridiculousness of the situation but understanding Dubois' motivation. White noted that, while he respects what Jake Paul is doing for boxing, Paul isn't a real champion. However, the fight would be Dubois' biggest payday. White emphasized that, as absurd as it may seem, it's a huge financial opportunity for Dubois. What do you think about Mike Tyson's performance against Jake Paul? Will Jake Paul ever face Daniel Dubois? Who would you like to see Jake fight next? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.